All right, well, let's go ahead and get started in that case if we got our quorum. Um, First of all, we need to look at oh, here comes somebody else. We're really good now. We need to approve the minutes as usual. So I need has everybody seen the minutes? Anybody have any problems with the minutes that they need to discuss? Then let's go ahead and vote on the minutes. All in favor? Oh, I need a motion. I'm not doing Robert's Rules of Order here. Tom's making a motion. Okay, somebody want a second? Bruce seconded. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Kenny, are we recording?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. That takes us then to the treasurer's report. So Ken, go ahead with your treasure.
Okay. Well, we started the month with $14,620.22. We had 47 people paid their dues for $940 income. And then we had expenses for the self-storage, the production website that Bruce paid for. And then we also sent $60 off to Sterling Park for the QSO plaque that we always sponsor.
Okay.
So that took us down by $132 and a few pennies, which left us at $15,428.19. One other thing, let's see where I stuck it. I stuck it somewhere and lost it, I guess. Oh, they got it. Oh,
I'd like to point out that we doubled our bank account in 2 years.
yeah. This last year, the total income over expenses was, and again, for the whole year, $1,498.17. So we did pretty good. We only had $191 worth of expenses this last year.
Okay, good.
We did pretty good.
All righty. Any new members tonight?
A bunch. More than I expected. How's that?
Cool.
We have an Edward Wright, R-I-K-E.
Ed Hilwa.
I'm sorry?
Ed Hilwa.
Hilwa, Ed Hilwa.
Yep.
Okay.
W4YWA.
Okay.
He doesn't have a call sign.
Yeah, he does.
No. Edward Wright, R-I-K-E, does not have a call sign.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's the first new member.
All right.
All right. Second new member is Edward. I've got it as Spring Gorl. K04GZB. He's a technician.
Okay.
Deborah Howard, K04JGW, technician. Jason Chang, K04F or JFM. He's a technician. We have David R. Cooper Jr., K04JWV. He's a general. And Gary A. Lisgengren, or something close to that, W4GAL. He's an extra, and he lives in Florida.
Cool.
So we got one that joined the club that is out of state.
Okay,
So,
somebody want to make a motion to accept these folks? Tom? Anybody? Bruce seconded? Okay, let's vote on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody
Aye.
opposed? All right, they are accepted. Congratulations. All right. Ken, do you have anything else tonight with the projects that you're working on?
no, Bruce and I still need to do a little bit of work and talk about some stuff on the new website. And I still have to do the work based upon what Wynn sent.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. The project you and Wynn are working on.
Yeah.
When you have anything you want to put on that tonight, or is it you just want to let Ken continue to work?
At this point, just so everybody knows, I proposed some changes to the board on the bylaws. which were soundly rejected by everybody on the board. So we sent them over to Win and asked Win's opinion, and Win, you very graciously took some time and made some suggestions for some changes and everything. And so I am still in the process of taking, I'm in favor of everything that you put down, Win. So I'm having to take all of that and put it all back together into a document that we can present. I do have one question for you. One of the things that you put in, and I dearly liked it, was current bylaw says we have to notify all the members in writing. You changed it to say an email counts as writing or something of that nature. And I was wondering, do we have to send mail, US mail to everybody? Or do you think even with the bylaws as they stand, email counts?
Well, that's a good question. And I took the opportunity, if you were going to update them, to sort of move us toward that electronic future that we all are going to be into eventually. I mean, I think the options for mailing are disappearing with government, corporations, all sorts of entities. So I just thought if we were going to sort of not have to do this again anytime soon, we ought to plan for the future and be specific that an email notification, when a notification is required, would be, an adequate notification. Not that we ever really have to do anything that's all that, critical, but I just think we ought to start moving toward that. It's difficult, it's expensive, and to do it by mail, and everybody, the world is moving there much faster than we are. So I thought it would be an opportunity to kind of catch up with where we need to be if the board decides and the membership decides. I mean, I need to emphasize that any change to the bylaws is ultimately a membership decision. The board will only make a recommendation, I think, but the membership can, decide to accept any changes or say, no, we're happy to leave them just like they were for the last, 7 or 8 years, whatever the last time was they were updated.
Yeah. Wynn, I had a question for you. One of the concerns that the board had when we met about this the first time was that it's a real pain to get a bylaws change past the State Corporation Commission. And I just question that because, I mean, I have 2 corporations in Virginia, and the State Corporation Commission has never asked me anything for anything more than my $50 a year. So I just wondered if that's a problem.
No, I don't think you don't even have to file the bylaws with the State Corporation Commission. They never see them. What they want to see is when you create a corporation, you file the articles of incorporation to establish a new entity, which is different from bylaws. But I don't think you're even required to have bylaws. Almost every corporate entity does, but no, it's not. Nothing has to be filed with the State Corporation Commission to change the bylaws.
Well, thank you for that. That clears up. And Ken, we need to keep that in mind
Yeah.
as we present this stuff. And Wynn, I want to thank you personally and for the club on for all the work you're doing on this. Wynn's done considerable amount of work on this bylaws issue, and he's also created the form that we use to accept donations now, so that if somebody decides they don't like what we did with their donation or bequest, they could come back and ask for their property back or whatever. And we now have a document that they sign and give us release to, where the board now has authority to do what we need to do with the property. By the way, Ken, I have a copy of the one that was signed this morning that we'll talk about that I'll send to you, just so you know when it comes to you what it is.
Yeah.
So, okay, anything else, Ken, you have for us?
No, that's basically it.
Okay, well,
I'm working on taking what Wynn did and going back from scratch, because he took my changes and modified those. So going back from the original, applying more or less everything that you have in there, Wynn, and I'll probably send you a copy of that before we attempt to move forward in any way with that. So.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, then that gets us down to the next issue, which is acquisitions. There's a gentleman who I understand was a member of this club at one point, WB4MHY. His name was Byron, M-A-R-N-Y, Marnie. He passed away. He was 94 years old. and his daughter and son-in-law contacted us and said that they wanted to give us some of his historical property, and also they had some of his equipment that they wanted to try to get into the right hands. So what it boiled down to, I went and met with him this morning, and what it boiled down to is I have 5 big loose leaf binders of all the QSL cards that this man had. I have his log books. I have his notes from when he went to computerized logs, and a bunch of historical information. Plus, he was an engineer for, I think it was DuPont, they said. And he has some technical stuff that he got along the way as a electrical engineer. So the club now has that property. We've accepted it. I went ahead and got him signed the form this morning. As far as the equipment that they have that they were looking for offers on, I'll just give you an idea what it is, and I'll probably send this to Bruce to put on the website. But they have one of the classic Heathkit HD10 automatic keys. That was the old green automatic key that had the speaker and I think the key built into it. They're asking $35, but all of this stuff is subject to offer. They have a Heathkit SA10, SA50, SA501A that they're looking for $15 for. They have a Welts 250 watt dummy load. It's one of the nice dummy loads that look like a can with heat sink fins on it, and they're looking for $140 for that. They have an MFJ keyer, 484 keyer. They're asking $20. They have an antenna switch that they're asking $50 for, and an SWR meter that they're asking $100 for, which I told them I think is unreasonable, but they're willing to take an offer. So they also have an antenna bridge, and they have a Kenwood AT250 automatic tuner. So that they're looking for. He's saying $500, but I'm sure that they'd accept much less than that. And they also have a 10-meter base station and an antenna that's a 10-meter antenna with a 40-meter trap, some kind of a vertical. So if anybody's interested in any of that equipment, shoot me an email and I'll put you in touch with Mr. Marnie's son-in-law, and y'all can work out a deal if you want to try to work out a deal with him. The main thing was that when he died, he said he wanted all his property to go into the hands of another ham radio operator. So it's all out there. And rather than put it in the storage vault or us try to make him an offer, I'd rather everybody work individually if you're interested in anything. So that's it for what I have. I guess we're down to reports now. Does anybody have any reports tonight? Okay, Bruce.
School's done. We had 7 in extra. One of the 2 were local. All the rest were spread from Connecticut down through Maryland. One of the local guys passed his extra. They're looking for tests to take up in Connecticut and Long Island, that sort of thing. So I guess I'll hear from them when that happens. But
yeah, you might suggest that they look at the online test too, because they're doing that stuff. We're not doing it right now, but
yeah,
you can.
they're looking for all that sort of thing, so that's good.
Yeah.
And Ken, I don't know whether you have any count on your folks, and then John, you have yours as well, right?
Yeah, everybody that I think that went down there, from what Alan told me, passed it. I think we had 6 or 7 people that passed it, and we have one person that's taking it in January because they couldn't make that Saturday test. So.
And January 9th, we're having our next test, and it's going to be, if you look online, also in the newsletter, you'll see it's at the Bon Air, Chesterfield Public Library in Bon Air on the 9th at 10 o'clock in the morning. If you don't have an FRN number, you need to get one first. We actually have a list of the things you need to prepare when you come that Alan gave me. So should be all set on the 9th for another set of tests.
Okay.
That's all I've got.
All right, thanks. Anyone else have a report for tonight?
Hey, John.
Uh-huh.
Joe Paulsa.
Hey, Joe.
Just wanted to report 2 things. One, as far as ARRL is concerned, locally, we have a new webmaster. We have a new website going up, which is going to be, I've seen the beginnings of it, and it's really very intuitive. great looking, and it's going to have a lot of information on it for all hams, not only ARRL members. And it will have the opportunity for, let's just say ARRL members for the ARRL Virginia website, as well as a separate portion of it, but it will be a separate portion in itself, and that's an Aries portion, so that there'll be a place in there for all sorts of information, availability, and everything else. The big thing we're looking for is it's going to be very interactive for anybody and everybody, but we're asking for any kind of postings that are going to be on it, that they not be, let's just say, Facebook type stuff going on. That it's going to be strictly amateur radio oriented, and that's the way it's going to be handled, if you will. I think everybody needs to take a look when they get a chance, and I think you can be very impressed with it. The other item very quickly, and this is just a member's report and nothing more. RATS has put their original FM repeater back in place. The DMR repeater has been removed. I'll just say several members have resigned, and there's a number of reorganizational factors going on right now. So just for somebody to know if they're interested. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Duncan. Yeah, I noticed the analog repeater was back, and somebody's got their mic open. It needs to close it because I'm getting feedback. Okay, so thank you for that report. Anyone else have reports? And Dr. Joe, would somebody let us know when that new website, when the URL comes up so that we can publicize it?
Yes, sir. You can publicize it now. I've got to check as far as it was online last night. I wasn't sure if they were going to be taking it offline to add to it or leaving everything up, but I'll get you the URL. I'll send you an email and you can shoot it out then.
Okay, good deal. Good deal. All right. I have a show and tell for y'all tonight. I'm hoping this is going to work. By the way, we don't have a actual speaker tonight, but Ken's the Tavern's going to talk to y'all for a little while about some of the things we got going on. But this is something I wanted to show you here. Can everybody see that? Somebody signal if y'all seeing my rig. Okay, this is a $10 camera that Ken's the Tavern found, showed me, and I keep telling Ken he's got to stop buying stuff because I'm going broke. But anyway, this is a little $10 camera. It has a built-in web server. I'll show you. I'll pull it up to the other camera in just a minute so that you can actually see what it looks like. It has a built-in web server that you can a wireless transmitter, Wi-Fi transmitter, so that you can basically power it off of 3 AA batteries or a USB 5-volt connection, and it pulls up its own DHCP web internet address and connects to a Wi-Fi router as long as you put the password in, if you have a password. And this is what it looks like. You can do a still picture, or you can do a stream, video stream. It will also do facial recognition and motion detection. So as you see down here on the, it says enroll face, you can put a picture of a face in here, and this thing will recognize the face if it sees it. So it's a pretty astounding little piece of equipment for the price. This is what it, let's see if I clear this out and show you my camera. This is what it looks like. And the only thing you need to buy to use this, other than the thing itself for $10, you need to have a USB to TTY adapter to program it. You only need that one time. I've managed to get one from Amazon for $11, which I can also use to program my handhelds and 2-meter rigs. So it's a well worth investment for the price. So that's what I have to show tonight. Anybody else have anything?
Can you send us the link to that camera?
Sure, we'll be happy to do that. Yeah, I'll get it out, and we can send it out in an email. Excuse me. All right, so Before we go to Ken's presentation, does anyone else have any new business or any reports or anything else that they want to bring out?
John,
Yes.
Jerry Sneed.
Hey,
Just
Joe.
wonder if I could ask Joe a question. Does that mean that there's no DMR repeater in Richmond now?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. No, there is, I think there's 2 or 3 DMR repeaters in Richmond. There's one in Powhatan and at least
Okay.
1 more, if not 2 more in Richmond.
Okay.
They're on a list if you look them up on the web. But
Okay.
yeah, they are full-time DMR repeaters. They were installed as DMR, and they have nothing to do with rats. They're owned by other people.
Okay. All right. Because I know there's one down here with me in Petersburg, and
Right.
I knew the Powhatan, but I didn't know there was more than one in Richmond. So, okay, I'll go on and look it up.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, sir.
Okay. Well, one other comment before we, excuse me, before we get off this. Bruce, I had talked to you a while back, the other morning, about the ham pie being, I was having stability problems with it. I talked to the guy, he contacted me back by email, and he has a new release of ham pie, and it corrected the problem I was having. So if anybody's interested in using ham pie, it is totally stable right now, as far as I can tell, all the tests I've done with it. And I'm now using it to drive my D4D, my little D4D transceivers that we built through the Makers Group, and hitting all kind of places. The other night on 1 watt, I did FT8 to California. So, I'm perfectly satisfied with the way the thing's working. So if anybody wants to do D4D or ham pie, both of them are been tested now to the point to make sure that they work. So
John,
yes,
Hey, John,
you and I might want to put together something for the January meeting on ham pie. I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, let's
just
do
all
that.
One kind of thing for ham, so.
okay, I'll work with you on that for sure.
John,
All right. Yes.
what do you mean by unstable for a ham pie?
Well, mine was crashing. It would work when you loaded the first time, and after you shut it down, when you tried to pull it up, it couldn't find the boot sector.
Okay.
And I was thinking it was the SD card that I had may have been bad or something, but with the new release that he came out with, it's been working fine. So,
Okay. All right, thanks.
also, to if any of you do ham pie, there is from what I understand, and Bruce, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this. The thing is it runs a program in the background that allows other people to do something with your transceiver, and he tells you how to turn that off if you don't want to have that going on. So what he asks you is that if you send him a QSL card, he'll send you excuse me, a message back that tells you how to turn all that off. So it's perfectly good at that point. I don't like the idea of having somebody.
He's got a SETI-like processing going on for some university in the background. They're using your cycles for it, but
Yeah.
sometimes on some pies, if you're doing certain kinds of work, it'll really mess things up. So
Yeah, it was running
that
slow.
problem
It
and
was,
send him the symptoms. He'll show you how to take it out. So.
right. And it's all just simple stuff that you do from the console. Okay, so if there's no other business as far as anything, I will tell you all my wishes for a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll turn the program over to Ken. Where is Ken? Hello, Ken. I see he's still in here. Ken, it's the tavern. You're up.
Well, there's pictures down here, but it's a still picture. So
Yeah, I'm seeing that. He may have stepped away. Let me see if I got his phone number. I'll give him a call.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is there any plans to start the next classes for the exams and for the licenses soon?
Bruce?
usually all of us instructors take a deep breath over the holidays. And then in January, we figure out who's available to teach. And so that tells us which classes we could have. And usually like the middle of February, we'll have registration. The way we figure our schedule is we go to Hamvention, which is somewhere like the second weekend of May, and we back up 11 weeks. So if you want to know how we figure our spring session, it's so that nobody gets to miss Hamvention. So that's the secret sauce. But don't tell anybody we do that. Secret sauce. Don't tell anybody we do that.
I won't tell. I won't tell.
Ken's back.
Ken's back.
Yeah. Hey, Ken, I was just calling you on the phone, disregard.
Hey, Ken.
Were you going to talk to us tonight?
Okay. Hi, John. I'm sorry.
going to talk to us tonight?
I had a major power glitch here, and good old Windows 10. When it starts up, it likes to update everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me know when you're ready for my.
Yeah, we're ready
drawing
now.
here.
We're ready for you.
Yeah, we're ready now. We're ready for you.
John,
Oh, okay.
John, can you
Hi.
mute everybody else so we only hear Ken?
Yeah, sure.
Can you mute everybody else so we only hear Ken?
Yeah, sure.
And I need screen share also, if you would please. The last month or so with this COVID, stuff going on, life gets real boring here unless I can peruse the internet and find something new to build. And oftentimes it's something new to build that I'm just out of curiosity of things I don't need something, but I'm curious as to how it works or why it works, and so it's worth spending a few bucks or so just to get it. So I've got a few new toys that I'd like to share with you, and just see what you think. Okay, I'm going to do a screen share here, and sharing your screen, pause share, stop share. Okay. I have my screen share. I'm not stop sharing. I lost my video. Can you see my video? Oh, there it is. Okay. Screen share. Okay, here's a cute little device that I bought. This is a receiver, and it will go up to 2 gigahertz. This one here, well, and it's got a spectrum analyzer with it, and it'll basically it'll do AM single sideband. It'll do a whole bunch of bands, all over the place. Neat little receiver. But that's one. And then this is what it looks like here. And narrow band and wide band and also narrow band. But then there's another one that I found, which is about the same price, but these turn out to be, I think they were designed in Russia. The ones that I bought actually came from a Russian website. let's see, what is the guy? A RV3YF. So I go to his website and to see what he's got. He's got, you know, a lot of neat things. Here's a receiver single sideband, a kit. This also is sold by QRP Guys, I think. If Malin's on, he would probably know. He's probably seen this, and some of these other ones. But the one that I found that I liked, where is it? Nope. Okay, somebody's got their mic open. I'm getting some feedback here. This is a, where are you, you dirty little thing? There's quite a number of them. A4, 95, 33. Anyway, I was interested to see what it was like, you know, with a Russian kit. So I bought it. It was, I think it was $98, and that's not very similar to it, but it's multi-band. The thing that fascinated me is it also has a what's called a mechanical filter in it, you know, which you don't see in many kits. So anyway, I bought it, and the first thing that I found, you know, came in a nice plastic bag. All the resistors were in like a separate bag, and each resistor value was in a separate bag, which I thought was kind of nice, you know, because I didn't have to. You don't have to test them. I test them anyway, just because I don't trust them. And I found the tolerances on it were extremely good. 1,000 ohm resistor was measuring out at 998 ohms. I mean, that's better than 1/2 of 1% almost. The board that they use, however, is not as good as the Chinese boards. They put very little copper clad on the board. So you got to be careful that you don't leave your soldering iron on one of the pads too long, because it'll lift from the board itself. And you know, so I discovered that very quickly. You know, but you can work around that easily. Then,
How long did it take to assemble it? How long did it take to assemble it?
Well, it's going to take a few more days. So far I have, in one night I put all of the resistors and all of the diodes, a bunch of diodes, 1N914s or whatever that come with it. The way I build things, I build all the stuff that has the lowest height, you know, the stuff that's closest to the board. So I'll do the diodes first. Next night, I'll put all the capacitors in. Then I'll probably go, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kind of ICs that I need to put in. And then the bigger things, you've got capacitors. The capacitor, the tuning capacitor that they use for is kind of interesting because it's geared. You tune it, and it's actually like about a 6-to-1. It's got a little gear in it. I'll show that later when I get off the share. And it's got a bunch of toroids that have to be wound, which I don't mind. I mean, you have to wind about 5 or 6 toroids, you get to the point where it's almost like knitting. You know, it's not that much of a challenge or whatever. And it has a bunch of also like IF cans, you know, the old-fashioned little can that's got a toroid, adjustable toroid inside of it. And there's like 4, 5 or 6 of them. So it's interesting little kit. And I'm not sure if it's ideal for everyone, if, you know, they want to build something like that. You know, I'm thinking to myself, why do I need another radio? I mean, you know, I've got a Yaesu, I've got, you know, Italian radio, I've got a Chinese radio, you know, I've got the band covered. But just if nothing else, it's sort of fun soldering this thing, putting it together, and then seeing if it worked. Now, our radio builders group, the reason I kind of put that together, you know, is to do this and in coordination with some other people. It's kind of group learning. That there's, I'm a very strong believer that, you know, if I can get, you know, 2 or 3 people around me, you know, that know as much or more than I do, that if there's a problem, there's a better chance of solving that problem because we can get a number of minds together. And so oftentimes I learn from other people's experiences, things they forgot about. You know, they say, oh yeah, you know, 20 years ago I did that and it seemed to work, you know, remembering it. And so for me, it's something new. It's something I haven't experienced. So a lot of these projects here are these kits and things like that. I look at from the standpoint of, would this be a project, you know, for our builders group, you know, to spend their time on? We've done a couple projects before, and some were more successful than others. The ones that weren't real successful, we learned a lot from. You know, the regenerative one, the circuit that initially that we were working with was very unusual, was very different. We learned a lot from that. And so hopefully we can find some more projects, you know, that will yield that, you know, that we can get, you know, some learning experience out of, and maybe also on a new toy. Now, it's been mentioned oh, here, this is the one here, $82. And look at this here. How often do you see a radio that's got an old mechanical filter in it? You know, that's a little something different. And you can see there's a number of ICs in there. There's the IF cans, you know, the adjustable things. And then there's a bunch of toroids, you know, that have to be wound. A lot of crystal. Now this is a multi-band, and it's got a band switch in it. So I forget what bands, but I think it's 80 through 10 or something like that. But it's, you know, the board doesn't look, they're not the nice green boards like the Chinese do. You know, this is a different kind of phenolic or whatever, you know, that they use in there. So anyway, that's at an $82 price, and I don't know, I think it might be $10 shipping or something like that. But this is Carlson, and let's see, where's the information about the 10 meters? You know, it looks like he's got, you know, good statistics.
Again,
And they make a bunch of other
Yeah,
stuff.
but the part's hard to identify.
Go ahead.
but the part's hard to identify.
No, well, so far the resistors were good. The painting on the resistors is better. The Chinese resistors, I think the Chinese have a little problem with their eyes because red and pink, you know, seem to be the same color all the time. You know, those, I feel like I have to test every one. Here the color coding was much better, but because they're all in individual bags, you know, I'd pull them out and, you know, because I just didn't trust them, and I'd test them, and, you know, like I say, they were so accurate. And it's kind of nice having them all bagged like that. It takes more effort to take them out of the bag and, you know, get the little things apart. You know, my big fingers don't work real well doing that, but it's a nice kit. I'm going to report further on it as I build through the rest of it. But so far, I'm very impressed with it, except for the board. And you know, I think that's easy to get around anyway. So this here is one of the things I found. I ordered it. This came from Russia, and it's kind of cool because it had nice Russian stamps on it. So, you know, if you're a stamp collector, you know, it's kind of cool. The next thing that we're looking at is maybe doing a weather station here. And John mentioned it. John came up with the idea, and since then I've been looking at a whole bunch of them. Come on, computer, let's go. Of different types. There are some that are adrenal based. There are some that are using a PIC computer, which I stay away from just because I don't know much about it. I don't know how to program them. At least the adrenal I know how to do. The Raspberry Pi, I kind of like because it's got a HDMI output. So you have more options of really doing nice graphics, you know, on the screen. If you do it in the adrenal, you know, its graphics is a little bit more difficult, or you got to find one that the guy has done a good job on the graphics. And the problem is if you want to change it, if you don't like what the job he did, you know, you got to go into the code, and sometimes that can be messy. With the Raspberry Pi one, a lot of that stuff is done in Python. It's a little bit easier to program that. So anyway, so here's one that I found that kind of neat. It uses, you know, this one's a Wi-Fi, you know, so there's some advantages of having a Wi-Fi one, so you don't have to run cables. The other ones, and of course they list, you know, all, you know, where you can get all the parts from. You know, that's good. You know, this one here, you know, basically will, you know, run off of a lithium-ion battery, which is nice. You know, that, you know, only need 3 volts. The place for, you know, I get almost all of my parts now from Amazon, but there are other things, and Surplus Sales of Nebraska, he's also got a lot of stuff, you know, available, and he's pretty good. The shipping isn't too bad on it. But I used to buy a lot of stuff from them. Then there's what is it called? All Electronics and a whole bunch of other places. Here's another.
Dear friends, welcome to another video.
Here's another one, and this one here, you know, using different screens, different displays, and then there's the Nexion ones, which are kind of nice because they have some whole variety of screens, you know, that go up to 7 inches. The Raspberry Pi also has some compatible 7-inch screens that are HDMI compatible with the Raspberry Pi, or you can plug the Raspberry Pi into your television set, you know, so that's a nice way of doing it. And
dear friends, welcome to another.
Here's the Nexion one. So, you know, $23 for. No, this is
the Raspberry Pi screen that's made for Raspberry Pi is a touch sensitive screen.
Yeah,
It's a touch sensitive screen.
there's both. The touch sensitive ones are usually a little more expensive. And of course, it depends on, what you want to do. If you want to use the touch sensitive to change the screen, or if you want to use push button, it depends. And I guess what I'm proposing is, I'm saying that there's enough different ones like this, that if we get our collective minds together, and look at it and say, well, what would everyone like to, because we should also decide upon one to build, but get together and people, some people say, well, it's really important that I have it, remote. I want to stick it out in the backyard up in a tree or something, or no, I could just as well run wires to it, so we kind of come to a decision. This one here is got a nice thing on how to build, the what's called, what is this, areometer and wind direction and stuff. And these are all connected very easily by, I'm not sure if this is Cat5 or telephone wire, might be RJ45 or RJ11, whatever, but if it's nice, easy connected, but it is wired. This is the rain gauge. It is wired, and so if you need something that has, Wi-Fi, you got to look at that at a little bit different fold. Let's see what, and it shows you, what you have to do, for the installation for the Raspberry Pi, which is good, and it's nice, clear, easy to read stuff. Some of it is like screen prints or something. And of course, the wiring is pretty easy, just like the Adreno, it's got a number of I/O pins, that you want to connect to and connect to the your sensors. Very simple. And I like this rather than a screenshot. I can read that. This I have trouble reading. Oh. But anyway, that's one thing. And here's another one. And different type of displays. Now, some people might say, well, this is fine. I just want to know the time and humidity and temperature, or, I want to know more. I would really like to be able to see, what the temperature was during the day. I want to see a graph of some sort. And, so you can get more sophisticated. Here's one that has a lot of graphing capability. So there's, I'm kind of encouraging people, everyone go out and kind of look at what's available. And so we can come up, maybe Tuesday, talk about what we found and, what we want to do and proceed from there. The other thing too is, we've got to consider some cost. We don't want to spend $400 on a system like this, because for $350 you can probably buy one pre-made that does everything you ever want to do. So half of the challenge would be, to put something together at a very, very reasonable cost and still get the, the enjoyment of the time. Here's one, sitting up with using it, solar panel for powering. And I got a solar panel that's left over from one of my Ring cameras. I had one of them that the solar panel stopped functioning, burnt out. Didn't really short, but what happened is the trace inside oxidized and opened up. So I had to resolder it, and I got a new panel. Well, I replaced it, so I've got an extra panel. So anyway, so here's, a bunch of things available there. Here's another one, the ESP32. The ESP32 is a fairly new chip. It came out in 2017, as opposed to the Adreno, which has been around, so I don't know, since 2012 or 2000. The Adreno is an 8-bit machine, and it's clocked at 16 megahertz. So it's not real fast, but it's an embedded design processor. So it's great for running a wash machine, a microwave oven, other devices, things like that. The ESP32 is a 32-bit machine. It's clocked at 240 megahertz, a lot faster. It also has 2 interrupts as opposed to the Adreno, which has only one single interrupt. It uses the same code, can use the same code as the Adreno. So you can program like an Adreno. It also has, you can program it in Python. And there's a compiler, for Python to put it into SP32 code. So it's a much more powerful thing. The pinout for it is fairly similar to the Adreno. It's got a, actually I think it's got a few less pins, but they're multi-purpose pins. So, some are output and also input at the same time. It just depends upon how you set them up. You can redefine them within the include. This is cute, nice little display. I've got some of those. They're cheap. They're a couple $3 a piece, but they don't show a whole lot. And this one is designed. It's got like a clock. I guess it goes around it, and so you functions as a clock or whatever also. So it's kind of cutesy. They give you the information for making the board, and so you can send the board out. And so here you press the button and it'll switch between these screens. But you can basically, this is this design of it right here. But you can go out, simple, look, very few connections, very few. Here's the board, and they show you, how to make the board, and you can send it out to this place, and I guess it comes back sort of looking like this here or whatever, and it's fairly cheap, 5 boards, $5, so it, in terms of project, if you got 10 people that want to make it or something like that, at least your board cost is not going to put you over the thing. This what guys got a whole bunch of them here that come back. But the thing is, it's limited in what it shows you, and it's got some surface mount components. All of these LEDs here, surface mount LEDs, as are the capacitors. And so it's a good project to force somebody to learn how to do surface mount, configuration. It's not that hard. You need you can't use a big honking soldering iron. You got to have one that's got a nice sharp point on it. And liquid flux. I think I talked about liquid flux last time. In this time, it's very, very important, in your soldering technique, put a little dab of liquid flux on there before you try and solder. The ASP32 sitting on the back. And it's got, good information, good library, got the code. Oh, get out of here, I hate that. It's got the code for it. and you know, a lot of code. I mean, I used to be a programmer. I can no longer do that. I don't have the fortitude to sit down and remember and go through all of this. But there are people that love doing that, and I'm grateful for them. You know, and you know, and they usually do a pretty good job of it, and I'm happy to use their hard work, you know, to build something. So anyway,
And
let's see. Yeah.
the good thing on
Yes, sir.
the code thing too, you don't have to sit down
Good thing on
and
the,
type all
on
this
the
code. You can
sit down and
copy it and paste
type
it into
all
the
this code.
compiler with the
Copy it and paste it
RS-232, I
into
mean, the
the
RS
compiler
camera that we showed
with the
tonight.
RS-232, I mean, the RS camera that we showed tonight.
There was 4 things that you had to put
Yeah.
into it,
There was 4 things that you had to put into it.
and it was all copy and paste.
Yeah, it's you
And it
know,
was all copy and paste.
yeah, the camera's nice because you know you SSID and your password and change you know the camera type, you know, and flex out the other one. So you know, that's good. I can't get mine to work. I don't know what I did. I was getting my camera, I started up and I was getting a brownout situation. And that's caused by it not getting enough, the voltage drop on my USB cable from my computer to my cam camera, the SP32 chip. And so what I did is I wired in 3.3 from a battery and then connected it to the computer because I've got to see that it starts up and see what address it picks up, you know, if it picks up 81 or not. And I'm getting an error. It's just, you know, I don't know what's going wrong. You know, I did minimal things, but, you know, minimal things might just screw it up anyway. So I got mad and did something else. So anyway, so that's one thing. This is going back to some of the radios. I'm fascinated to see what's new coming out and how high frequency, you know, they're going to work on. You know, this is that, you know, that other. This is the one that I got first of all, and I didn't like the touch screen on this one. It wasn't very responsive, and so I sent it back. And this one was on $115, and the other one, where that's the KK Moon one. Yeah, I know I lost it on here. Anyway, the the other one that I had that I bought is a little bit nicer. Let me switch cameras here. And then I lost my video. Come on.
Your video's back.
This here is, this is the one that it's a little bit nicer. Which way? There we go. It's got one, you know, antenna comes in here, but the thing is, all of these are built in, and it also has, it's got a speaker in it, which is kind of nice. So it's, you know, it's like a pocket radio. Okay, let me go down to what's active. Let me see if there's anything. I guess an antenna would help, huh? Yeah. I'm not going to get an antenna on there. I can't even find it. But thing is, you know, for like a pocket radio, I mean, if you're traveling or something like that, this is nice to take along. It's got a lithium ion battery built into it. You know, so you get to the hotel and there's nothing on television and you just, you know, want to see what's on the bands. Little antenna wire coming out of there, you know, would do fairly well.
How does
Here's
it
what
work?
that
How does
board
it work
looks
when there
like.
is an antenna on it? How does it work? How does it work when there is an antenna on it?
You're pretty good. I mean, I was getting 40 meters, 80 meters. I was getting a lot of stuff on 80 meters. To change frequencies on there, you know, you select whether you want 1 kilohertz, 10 kilohertz, you know, 100, and then the little button on the side here, you know, that you change will move it up and down, you know. So it's you know, if you want to go from 80 meters to 10 meters, you know, they got a little band thing here that you just push and it jumps there. Otherwise, you got to turn that button, what, 20 times or so to get up, you know, to move up 20 megahertz or whatever.
Does it have a
But,
waterfall
you know,
and a spectrum
it does.
display?
They
Does it
say
have a waterfall and a spectrum display?
it has both. Yes.
Can you zoom in on the waveforms? Can you zoom in on the waveforms?
I'm trying to get. You can see the waterfall there. You know, the line there, the waterfall, larger lines.
Does it have any built-in filtering? Does it have any built-in filtering?
It has, yeah, wide and narrow, a couple of filters. Looks like a 3000 filter, and I can't tell. I don't know how to change the 3000 filter. Oh, there it is. 50 to 3000. So it's, yeah, it's got some filters in. I picked up CW on it. You know, CW, you came through real easy. But so it did kind of a cute, you know, for $400, you know, it does a lot of stuff. So this is the board for the radio, and you can, you know, population on it. But this here, you know, bag of parts. And the one thing I wanted to show here, which I thought was kind of neat, because I really haven't seen one of these before here. Here is where you see the gear in there. Gear is right there. So as you turn this here, you know, it's a reduction gear. A little something different, you know. It's I don't know if all Russian things are built like that, or if that was just, you know, a unusual. Here's the mechanical filter. These are reminiscent of the, I guess, Collins used to have. I think Collins was famous, you know, for mechanical filters. I don't know how a mechanical filter actually works. I've never taken one apart. I have to look that up. But all the parts. Here's the thing for all the capacitors, and nicely packaged. Here's one for all the crystals, and also one of the inductors. And then here's got a band switch in there. So, nice, and then hardware, a couple pots and stuff like that. So, that came through, a nice little package. I'm curious to see, what it's like when we, want to get it together to see how it actually works. And like I say, I'm not sure how many people, need another receiver. We already got some very expensive ones that you spent money on, and probably may not even have room for another one on your desktop. So, but anyway, there's a couple things to think about. For getting together a project, something to build. And this is what I mean by, you move the cursor here and then you're at, 100 kilohertz changing. But it'll go all the way down to 1 hertz, which is kind of nice. But yeah, see, here's one of the filters, 30 to 3000, and then there's other ones, the later. This one does not have a built-in speaker, but there's a jack here for it for headphones. It's got power meter, antenna connector, cute little thing. Anyway, that's about all I know.
Ben?
And yes, sir. Questions?
The one there, you said that cost $400? The one there, you said that cost $400?
125, I think.
And
it comes, and this is in a case. It's a metal case.
Which brand is that?
And this is in a metal case.
Which brand is that?
I'm not sure. On Amazon, it's KK Moon. Where is that? KK Moon is one that sells this one. And I think if you search on this one, you'll also find the other one. There's about three or four companies that they resell these. Oh, I can't get to.
Are they on just Amazon, or are they on AliExpress and Banggood?
eBay.
Banggood.
eBay also. Yeah, check on eBay. I think that's where I got mine from. Because I got Russian stamps on it. But KK Moon, they buy these, and it's a big company, and they resell a whole bunch of stuff. But usually they also show other products in here.
How long does it take to get them in the mail? I mean, how long is the shipping? In the mail. I mean, how long is the shipping?
I think, okay. Now this is the one that I've got here. Yeah, so you see it's a little bit different. And it's a metal case. And it's actually cheaper than what it. This is one from Amazon. I paid from Russia. It took me 2 weeks. Yeah, about 2 weeks to get it. And this one they probably a lot faster, and it costs less than what I paid for it.
Okay. Anybody else got any questions?
But you can see the water.
Anybody else got any questions?
So
All right.
anyway, I'll be sending out a email
All right.
tonight for our meeting, Radio Builders Group meeting on Tuesday. If you are not on my mailing list, please send me an email, k4.ham@gmail.com, and I'll put you on the mailing list and send you the link for the program. Thank you, John.
All right,
Appreciate
Ken,
it.
thank you. Appreciate you doing the
All right,
presentation.
Ken, thank you. Appreciate you.
Go ahead and unshare your screen because you got me echoing.
Go ahead and share your screen because you got me echoing.
Oh,
Okay. All right.
how's that?
Okay.
That's good.
All right. That's good.
So anybody else have anything before we adjourn for the night?
So anybody else have anything before we adjourn for the night?
Then I guess we'll ask for a motion to go ahead and adjourn. Okay, Dwayne? Anybody second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, everybody. Good night. And again, happy holidays. Merry Christmas to everybody. Ken, you want to leave it open for a little while in case people want to talk to each other for a little while?